Ever wonder if you could see the future? What if you could prevent a disaster just by looking at your phone? Well, for a short time, that was a reality. It all started with an app called Aura. It appeared out of nowhere on the app stores. Wheat, a simply minimalist design, and an even simpler description. Stay safe. No developer name, no company, nothing. People thought it was just another weather app or maybe a public safety alert system. But it was so much more. The first reports were small, almost dismissible. A user in Tokyo got a notification. Minor traffic collision, Shibuya crossing, Las Tres y Quince payment. He was running late for a meeting and was about to rush through that exact spot. He paused, waited, and right at 3:15 p.m., he saw two cars fender bender right where he would have been. Coincidence, right? Then a woman in London received an alert. Gas leak, 22 Baker Street, 10 a.m. She called the gas company. Skeptical, they found a small, potentially deadly leak in an old pipe. The stories started trickling onto social media. #Aura. At first, it was just accidents. A dropped pallet at a construction site. A kitchen fire. A slippery patch of ice on a popular jogging trail. The app gave you a location and a time. That was it, but it was always, without fail, 100% accurate. People started to rely on it. Instead of checking the weather, they checked Aura. It became part of the daily routine for millions. You'd see people stopping in their tracks, checking their phones, and changing their routes. The world, for a brief moment, felt safer, more predictable. The number of accidents worldwide plummeted. Insurance companies were baffled. Emergency services reported the quietest weeks on record. But then, the notifications changed. The tone shifted from minor or moderate to something far more chilling. The first one I remember seeing went viral. A screenshot from a user in Chicago. The notification was different. It didn't say accident. It just said event, Willis Tower. 12:05 p.m. Severity, critical. People panicked. The building was Nothing happened. At least, not what everyone expected. There was no explosion, no attack. But at that exact moment, a man on the 95th floor had a fatal heart attack. His name was never released, but an anonymous source from the coroner's office confirmed the time of death. 12:05 p.m. Aura had just predicted a death. The discussion online exploded. Was it a coincidence, or was the app now predicting natural causes? The next day, there were more. Event, Golden Gate Bridge, 4:30 p.m. Severity, critical. It wasn't a jumper. Asmani feared. It was a cyclist, a perfectly healthy young woman who had a sudden, fatal brain aneurysm. Event, Central Park, 8:12 a.m. Severity, critical. A jogger, struck by lightning in a freak, localized storm that wasn't on any forecast. The app wasn't predicting accidents anymore. It was predicting the exact moment of death. The event was the end of a life. The severity, critical, was its finality. The world was terrified. What do you do with that information? Do you try to save them? How? You can't stop a heart attack or an aneurysm with a warning. The app that once made people feel safe now felt like a curse. A death clock in your pocket. People started deleting Aura in droves, too scared to see what it might predict next. Who it might predict next? A stranger? A loved one? Yourself? The ethical debate was insane. Governments tried to intervene. They couldn't find the developer. The app was a ghost. It existed on our phones, but it had no origin, no digital footprint that led back to a person or a company. Some said it was a foreign government's weapon. Others claimed it was an AI that had become self-aware. Religious groups called it a divine or demonic tool. Scientists were scrambling, trying to understand how it could possibly work. How could software predict the random, chaotic moments of life and death with such impossible precision? And then, it got even stranger. The notifications stopped being about single individuals. One Monday morning, a notification went out to every user in a small town in rural France. It said, Event, Mont Saint-Michel, 3 p.m. Severity. Catastrophic. Catastrophic. That was a new word. The entire town and thousands of tourists were at the famous Abbey. What could happen? A structural collapse? A terrorist attack? Authorities evacuated the entire island, a monumental effort. At 3 p.m., everyone watched from the mainland. And then it happened. A section of the ancient cliff face, weakened by silent, undetectable erosion, gave way. A massive landslide crashed into the sea, taking with it the very ground where hundreds of tour buses were normally parked. There was no loss of life, thanks to Aura. The app had just saved thousands. The world didn't know whether to be grateful or terrified. How did it know? The science behind that landslide would take geologists months to piece together. Aura knew it hours in advance. It was predicting geology now. What was next? Solar flares? Asteroid impacts? The app wasn't just seeing our future. It was seeing the planet's future. It was a crystal ball for humanity. For a week, the world held its breath. Governments held emergency sessions. Scientists published frantic papers. What was this power we now had access to? Could we use it to save our species? To guide our future? Was this the next step in human evolution? The questions were endless. The possibilities dizzying. We were on the verge of a new era. An age where uncertainty was a thing of the past. And then, on a Tuesday morning, exactly 1 month after the first critical notification, it was all over. People woke up and tapped the familiar icon on their phones, but the app wouldn't open. A simple message popped up. Connection error. People tried uninstalling and reinstalling it, but it was gone. Vanished from the App Store. Wiped from the Google Play Store. It was as if it had never existed. All digital traces of its existence were scrubbed clean. The download pages led to 404 errors. The company, which never existed, couldn't be contacted. It was just gone. All we have left are the screenshots, the news articles, and the memories. The memory of a time when we could see a few minutes into the future. The world went back to normal. Accidents started happening again. People died unexpectedly. Uncertainty came rushing back in. It was like we had been given a superpower, only to have it snatched away without explanation. To this day, no one knows where Aura came from. Was it a test? A beta version of something much bigger? Was it an alien intelligence, briefly observing us, or was it just a glitch in the Matrix? We may never know. But sometimes, when my phone buzzes, for a split second, my heart skips a beat. I wonder if it's Aura, back to tell me something, back to show me what's next. But it never is. And maybe that's for the best. Thank you so much for watching and going on this journey with me. If you love stories like this that make you think and wonder, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications. We have so many more mysteries to explore together. See you in the next one!